everyone. We are the Geek Patrol, and our microphones don't have a stun setting. This episode of Geek Tank Radio is sponsored by Season 32 of the Great Klingon Baking Show. Good stuff in here, Allan. The tar wasn't quite dead when I stuck it in the oven. But
I get that you're afraid of what they might do to you, but don't lie. That's not great.
Okay.
Well, the trick is you got to have the legs just slightly quivering.
Right.
That's how you know you got it dead on.
If I wanted to chase my food, I'd go off the grid.
Anyway, welcome to Geek Tank Radio, everybody. I'm Joe Thorderson here with my friends Brandon Olmstead and Alan Gilbreth and our buddy Max behind the glass, who surprisingly didn't have a comment for that. I threw it right out there for him, and he didn't react. In a minute, we're going to introduce a couple of old friends, and a few old friends and a special guest. But let's set the table first, Alan. Is it fat bears? Did I read that headline correctly?
Fat bears, baby.
That's a good thing, right?
It is.
They need to hibernate.
It's a great thing.
I don't know why that's newsworthy, but okay.
Oh, you'll find out.
Speaking of the animal kingdom, Brandon, you wanna weigh in again on Werewolf by Night? I feel like we touched on it before.
Well, now that it is, we talked about the fact it was coming, but now that it's premiered and we watched it, we need to talk about it. It may be one of the most important Marvel Cinematic Universe events yet.
Which is interesting, because if you were to take any Marvel branding out of the trailer there, you would not know that's a Marvel product. It looks pretty gritty, I like the black and white quality.
It's true. It's absolutely true. But once you start meeting the characters, if you're a Marvel file, you know these people. You've seen these people, and it's good.
Okay,
really
so we're gonna do that, and if time permits, I want to throw this question out to the panel, and it's more of a philosophical question, which is, why do we collect things? Let's face it, geeks collect things, and I'm more interested in the psychology of why do we do it. So we're going to roundtable that. Hopefully we'll stay on topic, and not get sidetracked with this. So
why are you looking at me?
Because Allan, we're not going to drag this into the weeds. But hey, so we got a pretty full roster here on Geek Tank Radio today. But it's time to introduce our special guests. So Brandon, why don't you introduce them?
Okay, well, coming to you here in the Geek Tank studios today, we have the amazing Mr. Robert.
Yeah.
We have his predominant sidekick, Squirt. Miss Hannah's with us. And we have, for the first time on Geek Tank Radio, we've got Mr. Bill.
First time, yes, sir.
First time, and it's good to have you in here.
What is a predominant sidekick?
That means when it comes down to it, right now, when you think of Mr. Robert, the sidekick you see immediately is Miss Hanna. Because, honestly, she's become more the superhero while he's kind of being turned into the de facto Nightwing to her Batman.
Well, Hanna, it's good to have you. Say hello. Say hello.
Hello.
Okay, she's a lot loud. She's a lot more talkative than that. We'll be hearing from her. But Mr. Robert, she's more or less the face of the daycare kids empire these days, isn't she? So.
Well, she's more of the strength of the daycare. She is the warrior.
Okay.
Now, Tadpole is still the face of the daycare organization, Comics, Toys, and Antiquities. But little Hanna here is our spokesperson of the year.
Okay. All right. Awesome.
So with that said, with her battling leukemia and stuff, it's one of those things that she is stronger than we are.
Yeah, I gotcha. So yeah, that is true, and she is tough. I mean, but the daycare kids, if you're new to the Geek Tank Radio or Memphis Comic and Fantasy Convention, basically, if you go to the vendor room, the daycare kids have their own. I don't even know how to describe it. You have a venue within a or it's an event within an event.
Yeah, we're just going to call it the booth.
It's not a booth where you just go buy, okay, I want to go buy some comics and collectibles. It's really like...
You get lost in there for a while.
It's more of Nostalgia Central.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, really is.
Yeah, but it's a hive of activity. You've got celebrity drop-ins. You got all this stuff going on there. So it makes our job easy, Brandon.
And he doesn't tell us when he's bringing in special guests. All of a sudden, you make a round through the vendor room, and you've got, a former world champion wrestler sitting there signing autographs. And it's like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
You never know who Mr. Robert's going to bring in.
Well, if I can chime in, I'm Mr. Bill. And wherever Mr. Robert shows up, whatever con he might be booked at, it turns out that the con is built around him. Instead of him coming to the con just happens to be there.
It's true.
Yeah.
And it's a beautiful thing. It always has been.
Yeah.
Well, we appreciate that.
Okay. Well, so what do you got for us this year? Because among other things, one of the showcase items is Let's Make a Deal, which is our big Sunday, more or less Sunday they're taking over, right? Brandon?
Right.
So, okay.
This year, where Mr. Robert used to, he'd come in about 1 o'clock. He'd do his, Let's Make a Deal daycare style, give away thousands of dollars in cash and fabulous prizes and a few zonks that are almost worth it along the way. This year, we're going to give the Sunday, the Noble Ballroom is going to be the daycare takeover all day Sunday.
Okay.
That's cool.
Yeah.
If I may, here we go.
Yeah.
This is the amazing Mr. Robert here with my sidekick. And we're here to let y'all know that, yes, we are not only going to do Let's Make a Deal, we're also on behalf of Mr. Bill, who is now battling cancer with his family. We would like to, before the Let's Make a Deal, we're going to auction off 5 to 6 items to help raise money to battle cancer for Mr. Bill. With that said, one of the items that we will be putting up, the number one item we will discuss today, will be an original Billiken Frankenstein model kit from the 60s.
Wait a minute. Okay, go ahead.
And as the bell toes,
Okay.
Awesome.
Perfect.
we will be giving it away or selling it live auction. Now, Mr. Bill
Yeah.
will be bringing things, and we will have several items up, and we will discuss it more.
Okay, so a 63 Frankenstein, I don't know what that is. I mean, I'm thinking of the 1930s.
This is
That's
an
like a
original
65
Billiken
and a half Mustang.
model kit. So you
Yeah.
had Horizon, Aurora. Before that was Billiken. And we have one that's never been touched, put together, been open to make sure all pieces are accessible. Everything's there, and we are going to auction it off. Its normal worth value today is around $800.
Yeah. Turn your phone. Okay. But here's the thing about some of the things at the Mr. Roberts booth. Okay. You go up there and you're like, that looks like a lunchbox that I saw back, 40 years ago.
'Cause it is.
It's a Star Trek lunchbox that's worth like $8,000 or
Yes.
something. So don't just gloss over that. I mean, some of these items that are going to be up for auction, these are hot. And the thing that's interesting about you, Mr. Robert, you want people to go away with these.
Oh, yes, sir. I definitely don't want to take them home.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll unpack some more of that when we come back. But a visit to the daycare kids vendor booth is not to be missed. And, of course, we got to talk about a shop as well. But anyway, you're listening to Geek Tank Radio. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back. And welcome back to Geek Tank Radio. I'm Joe Thorderson here with my friends Brandon Olmsted and Allan Gilbreth and our buddy Max behind the glass and our special guest, Mr. Bill. Not that Mr. Bill, although I have to wonder how often you've been dealing with that issue, right?
Oh, no.
Yeah,
It's
okay.
been years, actually.
You couldn't have picked a better nickname, man? Okay.
And actually, the nickname Mr. Bill came from when I was working DJ in Paragould on radio and said, you need a nickname. So obviously, Mr. Bill just fell to me. It was
Okay.
years after the Saturday Night Live bit, but it has stuck.
Yeah. Okay. And here with and of course with the amazing Mr. Robert, the head of the empire of the daycare kids, and his trusty sidekick Hanna, who really the roles are sort of reversing. Hanna, this is going to be your empire one day, right? I mean, you're more or less the face of the empire, aren't you?
Yes.
Okay. Talking to the microphone. So hey.
Yeah, Joe, talking to the microphone.
So, guys, we've been, the Memphis Comic and Fantasy Convention is right around the corner. It's coming up November 18th through 20th at the Memphis Marriott East. Plans are going along smoothly. I have to say, Brandon, one of my problems is that now we are overrun with schools that want to participate in Geek 101, and I'm actually having to pare down a little bit. Geek 101 is going to be rocking. But,
I mean, we might have to take an entire extra day next year just to do Geek 101 all day long.
Yeah, but on Sunday, throughout the weekend, but especially on Sunday, Mr. Robert, you basically take over the ballroom downstairs, and it's all about let's make a deal. People come strictly for this. There's some serious collectibles at stake here, right?
Well, on behalf of the organization, I'd like to say that we are appearing at other conventions like Dyersburg in the early November, and people are wanting to start buying tickets the 1st of November.
Wow.
So we will start selling at each place that me and Hanna will be attending on her behalf. We will be selling tickets to all the other venues.
So basically, everybody who comes and sees you, like from November 1st until you get to the convention, can buy the raffle tickets to take part in the the giveaway for Let's Make a Deal Daycare style.
Right, and if everything works out correctly, we will be live on Facebook during the show. So people that's not there that did buy a ticket will participate.
Well, that's awesome.
So if you can picture, folks, if you know that classic game show, Let's Make a Deal. Well, this is all geek stuff. The difference here is, though, you genuinely want people to win these items. And honestly, I'm telling you, it's not that hard to win. I mean, I've seen people walk out with some serious prizes, and they're ecstatic.
With that, I have so much stuff in the collection that the volume is overwhelming. And we have realized that we need to give a lot of this stuff to a better home. So me and Hanna has realized, Squirt, that we would rather people to own it than us take it back home.
Right. Well, and you're all about a story. Like if I could use one word to describe Mr. Robert, it's karma. You're a big believer in karma, and these items just sort of make it your way. Like they just sort of arrive.
Well, like I just told a story just a second ago. Yeah. We had a nice little gentleman, we're just going to say a nice fairy, pull up to the store the other day. Walked in toting 5 or 6 lightsabers sealed in a box. Laid them down and told me I hope it would help Hanna, and walked out the door.
Isn't that something? That's, people are all, I don't know. You attract a unique group of people, I have to say. But
I want to talk about something that I witnessed just the other day.
Yeah,
it's a young man who comes into the shop over the daycare kids, comics, collectibles, and antiquities.
Comics,
toys, and antiquities. I'm sorry, I always get that confused. But he comes in. It's his birthday. But this is a young kid. I mean, he's 13 years old. He's
just turned 13.
He budgets his stuff. His money. He comes in there all the time looking at stuff that he wants, and he saves up his money. He gets it. Mr. Robert, he comes in for his birthday, gets his thing, and then Mr. Robert, continues the birthday push. He gives him an option to come in, checks, and this kid's he's part of the community, and right. Mr. Robert, he pays forward what he has earned over his life, and the karma alone, it's such a positive environment. And there's no other way to say it.
Well, it's one of them things, when you see something that needs to be rewarded, you should. The little gentleman you're talking about has been in 3 times before his birthday and calculated his money and says, no, I'm not going to spend it today. I'm going to hold it. Well, the other day when he was in there, his dad was going to give him an extra $20 to pay for what he wanted to buy, and the kid said no, he's going to pay for it himself. With that being said, when he got done paying for everything, I turned to him and did like most people would do and told him, all right, go get another one. I don't care what it costs.
Huh.
And I gave it to him.
Well,
I do that daily. Kids come in that can't afford nothing. They walk through there with their parents, and the parents say we don't have the money for it. When they get to the door, me and Hanna will go pick up the item they wanted, and we'll give it to them and tell them thank you for coming to the store.
Yeah, so you're not, in terms of a business model, I don't know. But in terms of an experience, you need to go to the daycare kids' toys, antiques, toys, and antiquities. I'm telling you, man, every time I go in there, it's just, I can't walk out without an armful of stuff. But it looks different every time I go in, and it's just a unique experience. So.
And honestly, even if it's just you go in there, you chit-chat with Mr. Robert, you hang out with Hanna for a little while, you get a really good positive feeling when you walk out of there.
Well, we designed it to be family friendly.
Yeah.
When my wife and everything, and we started building this, we wanted to build something, and this person had made a statement, and I'm gonna tell this little story real quick, and I'm gonna go as fast as I can. Had made a statement: if we could make something nobody else could make, we'd be famous.
Huh.
My wife come to the idea that, you know what, there's this little project everybody through history's worked on, and we figured out a way to create it. Our store is a time machine. When you go in it, you're a kid. When you leave, you go back to being old, and I remember waving at people as they leave, going by from the abyss. Because long as I'm there in my fortress of solitude, I'll live forever.
Well, so when you get to the Memphis Comic and Fantasy Convention, if you want that experience, Mr. Robert, you take over the back corner of our vendor room, and I'm telling you, there's an energy that pulsates. There's a activity that's constantly going on. And so real quick, how do people get tickets if they want to order tickets in advance? So.
You can go on our Facebook page, The Daycare Kids Comic Toys Antiquities with a question mark. And you can log on there and contact us, and we will give you a call and go from there.
All right. Well, it's always great having you guys around, man. So, and we'll be updating as the weeks draw on, because we're getting very close to the convention. So, all right, guys, it's time to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to talk about Werewolf by Night. Welcome back to Geek Tank Radio. I'm Joe Thorderson here with my friends Brandon Olmsted and Allan Gilbreth and our buddy Max behind the glass, and Mr. Robert and Hanna and our Squirt, I should call her, and Mr. Bill ran down to go get some donuts in the break room. So
I feed my guests here on Geek Tank.
Yeah, so we're gonna we're gonna segue and talk about
speaking of donuts.
Yeah, so we're gonna talk about well, let's kick it off because and we may or may not get to everything we tease today, folks. When they show up, it sort of gets,
Yeah.
And the kid, she's the cutest kid, so what are you going to do?
You can't tell her no.
Just, yeah. So, but Werewolf by Night, you guys, I don't know, man. This is, it's becoming a more important show than maybe it started off.
Well, okay.
This is totally mine and Allan's wheelhouse to begin with.
Yeah.
We were excited when we saw the teaser at D23. But now we've gotten a chance to see the special.
Yes.
And it has more importance to the MCU than you would have expected.
Which is always interesting. Yeah.
All right. So everybody here has seen Eternals, whether they wanted to or not.
I haven't. I'm proud to say I haven't. Okay. I didn't waste 2 hours of my life watching it.
You need to see the sizzle reel, the teaser at the end of Eternals. If you don't want to watch the movie, I get it. But you need to see the last scene with Dane Whitman.
Okay.
Actually, I'll go ahead and spoil it because everybody else in the world has seen it. Dane Whitman, has this box in front of him. It is the ebony blade, which is the blade of the Black Knight. Mm-hmm. It is a family heirloom. He opens the case. It kind of hums at him. He goes to pick it up, and you hear a voice say, "Are you sure you're ready for this, Mr. Whitman?" Something like that. And it's Mahershala Ali, who is playing the MCU version of Blade.
Okay.
Setting up the supernatural foreground of the MCU, or background of the MCU. We know Doctor Strange is a part of that same universe, and we've been watching his exploits for 2 movies, 3, and of course you got Agatha Harkness and her the Darkhold and the Scarlet Witch. This starts filling in holes that are going to be necessary for going forward with those storylines.
Okay, is this basically a commercial for stuff to come, or is this just showing us a corner of the MCU we've never seen?
All right, what this is,
and this seems like the comics Allan would have read when he was a kid.
Oh yeah,
he's so down with this.
I didn't read any of these, so
I still own these comics.
Okay,
so
all right.
This is a typical MCU maneuver, and this is how to stuff the turkey. Because we're going to take...
You knew it'd be a food reference.
We're going to take a side reference. And then, let's go back to where Michael Giacchino, who's renowned for his music.
Okay.
He's in almost every MCU property somehow, someplace. Looked at him and said, I got an idea.
Yeah.
And everybody thought about it, and then they kind of picked it up and ran with it like a disturbed Chucky doll into the night with a shiny new knife.
Mm-hmm.
And here was a complete departure from a standard MCU production.
Yeah.
All right, this is a big risk. I mean, you're throwing the bones on this one. And of course, Brandon and I are going to look each other dead in the eye, and we're both going to go, and man, did it score.
It did.
Well, you haven't seen the show yet.
No, we have. It debuted this week.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Oh,
I haven't watched it
Brandon
yet.
and I have so seen
it's
this.
Like I was sitting there waiting for, basically on a countdown going, gotta watch it now.
Okay.
It big
took,
time.
I'll just tell you, I was so excited for it. It took precedence over Andor this week.
Oh, I didn't know it came out. Okay, I don't know why. I thought they were spacing it more.
But because of the way the MCU loves to Easter egg stuff or drop hints or put pendants or little things into the scenery to drop that this is coming into the MCU, you are looking at, I guess the best way to describe this would be either chock full of fur or chock full of nuts. Because it's everywhere. Everywhere you look in this is all of these hints and tips and tricks that we're opening up the paranormal side of the MCU.
Okay, now that's all well and good, I suppose. But to me, that's a marketing thing. Is the story itself interesting? That's all I care about.
The story itself is as amazing as his music.
Okay, good.
All right. It's kind of like you take any average movie.
Yeah.
You put the right soundtrack behind it. All right, let's face it. Steven Spielberg scored big because of 4 notes on a piano. You could be sitting there staring at nothing but open water and dump, 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 and suddenly your heart is beating and you know something horrific is about to happen.
Bruce is coming for you.
Bruce is on the way. Well, guess what? Giacomo does that scene after scene after scene.
There's so much suspense in this. You could
butter bread with it.
You really could.
Does it have that feel of an old black and white movie?
It does. It feels like an old.
That's not easy to do.
It feels like an old Universal Monsters movie.
Oh,
okay.
Perfectly.
And it's a nice bite-sized format. It's only like 50 minutes long.
It's all
You
you
say
need.
bite-size.
He did.
On purpose.
Yeah.
Because of course it's Werewolf by Night, and we do get to see Jack Harkness in his full werewolf form. I don't want to give away too much of the story, but there's also you get
to see Man-Thing.
You get to see Man-Thing. You get to see Elsa Bloodstone. You get to see Ulysses Bloodstone in a very Frankenstein style.
Yes.
You get to see Jovan. You get to see various other members of the Monster Hunters group, which everybody thinks the Monster Hunters are good guys. No, they never have been. And a very important artifact that will play a major role going forward. You get to see the Bloodstone.
Okay. Well, I mean, just because the texture of it alone is different, that makes me want to watch it.
Yeah.
So, but and is it gory? Because there's a lot of blood.
So there is a lot of blood, but because of the way that they do it in black and white, it's not visceral.
Okay.
Like there is a moment.
You're not watching Saw where somebody's nipping off a finger with pinking shears.
Yeah, there's a lot of violence in it because the hunters are all after the Bloodstone,
right?
Which has been embedded in a monster that they're supposed to hunt. It's supposed to make the monster weaker, while they are able to get to it and get power.
One thing I will say that intrigues me, because I feel like as soon as Technicolor came in, there was this departure from black and white movies, and there is an aesthetic you get with a black and white movie that is really unique, and I hope we see more black and white productions. I mean, there's nothing saying you have to get rid of it. You can still use it.
It's so stylized. It's just kind of scary.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll be okay. Well, I guess I got to watch it, and then you guys kept it pretty spoiler light. So, all right, guys, we're gonna take a quick break. As we said, we're probably not gonna get to half of what we teased today. Just bear with us. But when we come back, it's a complete mixed bag here on Geek Tank Radio. And welcome back to Geek Tank Radio. I'm Joe Thorderson here with my friends Brandon Olmsted and Allan Gilbreth, and our buddy Max behind the glass, and our special guest, Mr. Robert from the Daycare Kids, his trusty sidekick and vice president of the Daycare Kids Empire, and our friend Mr. Bill over there, who, I don't know, man, Mr. Bill, you should have picked a better...
you don't forget his name. Why would you?
You don't forget his name, but I think there's branding confusion. Because you don't look anything like Mr. Bill. You don't act like him. You're just, I don't know.
I try to avoid Mr. Sluggo so I don't
there you go.
Yeah,
squished and pounded down.
Hey, guys.
Instead, I've hooked up with Mr. Robert, and that's a judgment call right there.
He's kind of dressed like Mr. Sluggo today.
Kind of just to throw this in there. By the way, there will be a Mr. Bill being auctioned off.
Okay.
All right. Awesome.
Hey,
we ain't found Sluggo yet, but we do have Mr. Bill.
Okay, so off the air, we were talking about something, and we thought, okay, well, we probably need to bring this up. Brandon, you and Hanna are teaming up, right? So now, as we said, Hanna, you're a tough kid. You're battling leukemia right now, right?
Yep.
You would never know it if you met her. She's full of life. She's excited. You're the most upbeat and toughest kid that I've ever met. But you guys are working on something to help some of your St. Jude friends, right? So Brandon, go
All right.
ahead. This is only something you would create.
No. See, now that's where you're wrong.
Actually,
Okay.
it was me and Hannah.
Okay.
Miss Hanna, if you've ever spent any time with her, you know that she's a fan of a little bit of the darkness. She likes the horror. She's a big Creep Show fan. And she has an amazing horror collection that you can see at the daycare kids store. And her and Mr. Robert approached me because I've made a hockey mask that it sits in his showcase at the store. And they've asked me to do a Friday the 13th Jason mask styled in cancer colors, the colors for pancreatic cancer and leukemia, to honor both Miss Hanna and Miss Bertha. And it's going to be etched with with St. Jude in the Pennywise font. If you've ever seen the movie It,
Wow.
and I know you have, and so they brought this idea to me, and they're like, we want to do this, and we want to auction it off at the Memphis Comic and Fantasy Convention.
Hannah, how old are you?
8.
Okay, you're an 8-year-old kid. You look like you should be collecting, like, I don't know what, My Little Pony action figure.
No.
No? Okay, and so your plan is to wear this Friday the 13th. What is this?
It's a hockey mask. It's a Jason Voorhees style hockey mask, and you're going to wear it through the halls of St. Jude.
Is that what you're going to do, Hannah?
Yes.
Are you afraid you're going to terrorize the other kids or what?
No.
Okay, well, it's okay.
These kids are a lot tougher than you think, Joe.
Is there branding confusion? Brand, how do you mix grisly horror
because no matter what entertainment you come across, it's not as scary as what some of these kids are going through.
Okay.
And Miss Hannah's showing them that they can be just as strong as she is.
You think that's the message they're going to get, Hannah?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know.
Is there anything you want to say to anybody out there?
Yeah, who? I don't know.
All right.
This raises way more
Okay,
questions than
Joe.
we,
Go sit in your puritanical corner. I'll handle this from here.
Anyway, okay.
Now, Miss Hanna, you've been going through your treatments for how long now?
1.5 years.
Okay, and they've got a proposed diagnosis that you're going to be going through treatment for a total of 3 years overall, right?
And then I'm going to go to Disneyland.
That's
Oh,
awesome. That's
wow.
awesome. So you know what your end goal is. And I know that this, you're an 8-year-old kid, you've got your plans, but are there ever times when it just seems like it's undaunting and just a little too much?
No.
You never give up.
No.
And see, that's one of the amazing things about Hanna is that you could go, if you're in a sour mood, you're in a sad mood or something, you go into the daycare, she'll cheer you up. She'll get you all sorts of good. I have watched grown men who are into all this horror and grisly stuff, like a certain Eric Crimmins we know, bawl his eyes out just seeing how strong she is. Mm-hmm. I do it too. It's like I'm getting misty-eyed now just thinking about how amazing she's been on this journey, and she's not giving up. When, so many people have gone to that point where in treatment, they're just like, I don't know that I can do this. She perseveres. She's one of the strongest people I know, and she's 8.
I don't know. Yeah, Hannah, you're gonna probably run like some big corporation one day, and you're being poised for greatness with this battle of
We're
yours.
all going to be working for her. So.
I have no problem with
I
that.
already do.
There you go.
Well, Hannah, you're gonna be now. She's not. You're not wearing this at the Memphis Comic and Fantasy Convention, are you?
Oh, yeah.
Yes, I am.
Okay, don't look at me that way.
You.
You're going to chase Joe through the halls,
And
aren't you?
I'm going to give you $5 extra if you'll chase him down the hall.
Okay. Well, to each his own. As we say, we attract everybody at the Memphis Comic and Fantasy Convention. Hannah, that's you. You're there every year, right? This has been you look forward to this. And now, on a more positive note, you're going to get to meet somebody from the movie Encanto. It's our special guest, Adasa. Now, you're looking forward to meeting her, right? So. Okay, she sounds enthused about that.
Well,
I thought you were going to introduce all your St. Jude friends to her.
I don't have none.
Okay.
But I only have nurses and doctors.
Okay. All right. I don't know, man.
There's one that kind of has my name. Her name's Anna.
oh, okay.
Anna.
Oh, awesome.
That's
Okay,
her
so
name.
shout out to Dr. Anna. So, okay.
She's my favorite.
All right. Well, regardless, St. Jude does do great work. I mean, we're really lucky to be here. I mean, St. Jude is what, 10 minutes from your house, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
No, 30 or
No,
20.
it's 10 minutes from our house.
Okay.
No, mine.
Yeah, it's 8 minutes from your house.
No.
Yeah, you're closer than Grandpa.
All right, we'll figure it out off the air, you guys. So, okay, well, anyway, hey, if you want to get involved with the Memphis Comic and Fantasy Convention, there's more than just there's intrigue. There's you might walk away with something very, you might score that big collectible at the Let's Make a Deal, and you're just going to have a lot of fun. So go to memphiscfc.com and get your tickets now. And if you got any panel ideas, I don't know, Brandon, is it too late?
I don't have a whole lot. I have a few spaces left, so yeah, I could use a few more panels. I think we are also looking for a couple of volunteers to help out with some of the things you've got going on around the convention.
Yeah, I'll probably make announcements next year. We got kind of a call to action, but we're running out of time here, you guys. So it's probably going to be time to wrap it up. But you guys, it's always Mr. Robert. It's always great having you in here, and Mr. Bill, it was fun having you around too.
Yeah, glad to be invited.
But it's time to get out of here. So until next week, we are the Geek Patrol, and I am Joe Thorderson.
I'm Allan Gilbreth.
Or
The amazing Mr. Robert.
Okay.
And Mr. Bill.
And I am Brandon Olmsted. And until next time, stay positive.